But obviously, we're going to get started by going back to this past Friday night. Here we go. This is our play of the week. So talk to us about what we're seeing here. Walk us through it. The Rattlers punt to the Hornets down 16-13. Welcome into RattlerUp with Coach Walsh, live from San Marcos High School and the Rattler Broadcast Studios, and exclusively on the home for Rattler Nation, the RattlerUp Network. This is where you've got to watch every week to keep tracks of all things Rattler Nation. I'm your host, CJ Odom, and with me as always, San Marcos CISD Athletic Director and Head Football Coach, John Walsh. Coach, welcome into RattlerUp.
We're over halfway through the season.
We are over halfway.
Yeah.
We're in a good place here. We're excited. Well, this week on RattlerUp, we're going to take a look back at our great win this last Friday night against Clemens. Of course, we're going to preview this Friday night back home at the Toyota Rattler Stadium, taking on the East Central Hornets. And once again, digital communication student and football player Creek Ennis will be here with another round of questions for his new segment, Rapid Fire. Now, Coach, you survived last week's Rapid Fire segment with Creek. You ready to do that again?
I'm a little nervous this time.
I think we've upgraded.
He had time to think about this.
Yeah, he's much more prepared now. He's brought in a staff. He has a logo.
Yep.
I mean, he's getting. He may have his own show by
he
episode
grew fast.
9.
He grew fast.
All right, well, Coach, before we get started and talk some football, some big news in Rattler Nation. We saw Cole Viatric, baseball player, senior, was recently announced he's committed to play baseball at National Park College. So talk to us a little bit about that. It's always exciting to get another signing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, college is college, but if you can, do what you love, in this case, athletics, and play baseball, it just makes that college experience, it goes by faster because you got a season, really 2 seasons in baseball, and he's deserving. He's when I first got here, he was a quarterback, and he was long and could throw the ball, and I was looking forward to having him in our program, and he broke my heart one day when he said he wasn't going to play anymore. And I think that same time period, he had an injury in his elbow. So it's good to see him come back. I'm in their dugout most of the time when they play at home, and he brings a little fire and can pitch, play first base. So he's a good baseball player.
Rattler Nation, RattlerUp Network got to those baseball games last year. It was so much fun. His name got called a lot. He was a big part of that team last year. So talk to us about, obviously there's so much to bringing in athletics and the program and the things, and obviously getting kids signed on to college, regardless of where and for what, is such a big deal. Why is it? I mean, it seems obvious, but talk to us on your coaching end, why that feels so good to get that happen.
Yeah, I think for a school, there's 2 parts to that, really school-wide and just a personal. You want our players to go represent us all across the state, all across the nation. We have them at Harvard and Louisiana. We got them everywhere in every sport. And then from a personal level, it's just, there's a lot of pride that goes into a family, seeing your son or daughter grow up, playing soccer. And I don't know what all Cole did when he was little. I know he played football and baseball.
Right.
But then to see them dream about something and then actually that dream comes true for them. And when they get there, times have changed since when I was playing college ball. I mean, it was old school, and you went to class, you had to earn everything you got. These days, they got everything waiting for you. They got great meal plans. They got academic centers where it's nearly impossible to fail class if you're an athlete. So it's set up for success these days, and really proud of Cole.
Yeah, it seems like you were saying before when we talked about previous athletes, if you can just get them across that finish line and get them to college, you're all but guaranteed they're going to be successful. And it not necessarily in that sport, because obviously the next level of going professional is such a small amount, but getting that college degree and setting themselves up for life moving forward.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're at Division III, Division II, or Division I. The resources are there now. They obviously expand exponentially when you get to the Division I level, but there's resources for every part of your life, socially, academically, and then just the physical part to succeed.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a look back this past Friday night then.
Okay.
We'll talk some football. Got some boys on that team certainly looking to go to the next level, and they're well on their way as we look back at our Friday night against Clemens. The Rattlers headed down to Schertz this Friday night for a matchup with the Clemens Buffaloes. Now, the Rattlers got on the board early when quarterback Buck Stein completed a 22-yard pass to Elliott Gray for a touchdown and a 7-0 lead. They would score again in the second when Stein ran one in himself from 12 yards out. The extra point would be blocked, however, and the Rattlers would hold a 13-0 lead. They were looking to take that lead into the half, but Clemens was also able to block a punt and run it in for a touchdown to move that score to 13-6. But the Rattlers weren't done in that first half. A second connection from Stein to Gray set the halftime score at 20-6 Rattlers. Now, Clemens would get one more score in that second half to move it to 20-13, but the Rattlers defense shut them down the rest of the way. Offense would put up 10 more, and the Rattlers would seal that win for a 30-13 victory. It takes the Rattlers to a 4-2 overall record and a 2-0 in district play. So, Coach, before we talk details, just what were some of your overall impressions of that win against Clemens?
And there was a lot to take, and just listen to the recap right there reminds me of lessons and things that happened Friday night that are going to bode well down the road. First of all, our locker rooms usually got a lot of energy, and when we travel, we always go to a church, and at that church we have a devotional, we have a team meal, and then we have offensive meetings, defense tape. Then we switch defense meetings, offense tape. And the church wasn't silent, but it was quiet. And I made the joke, they either went to a big party this weekend and were tired, or they're really focused.
Right.
And they're extremely focused. And you can just see the maturity, and they're learning how to prepare for a game. You can keep telling them and coaching them, and then they're starting to figure it out. And that bled over into pregame. And then I'm going to skip the play and then go to the end of the game. We won a good game. You should feel good about all your wins. But I could feel when they came up to me and I was giving the post-game talk, they were glad they won, but they weren't satisfied. And,
right.
and that was good because they knew they left some points on the table. Defense wasn't as dominating as they've been. So you got to show up every night. And the thing is, we're starting to get some statewide publicity, and people don't like it. And we were supposed to be good, and all of a sudden we're getting good. And they're seeing everybody get your best shot. We got to take the field each and every night, knowing I'm coming for you,
right?
And vice versa. But another play, some things that happened. That block punt was huge all year long. We got some sophomores up that are playing special teams for us, and we need them, and they're good players, and they're resting our seniors and juniors. But now that we're getting close to the playoff time, our starting defensive guys have to be on the punt team and kickoff team because you can lose and win a game on there. So been talking about it, and we look out there, and we got two defensive starters not in there, backups in, and they bring 6'5" right down to B gap where those guys are supposed to be and block it and score a point. I was really mad at first, and I just reel myself back in and say, teaching moment for Saturday. Let's go win this game. And
this is why we've said.
Yes, so teaching moment. So Saturday morning, it was taught real well to them in that video meeting. So they understand that why we do what we do and say what we say, and everything matters. And again, our defense, they gave up 7 points only.
Right.
But they were moving the ball, and I could see their pride that they were mad that they were picking up first downs, and it's going to happen. And I knew it was going to happen. And so I watched them have to adjust. Hang on, we're not just 3 and out every time. What's the deal? It's called football. There's good people out there, and they had a good team. So yeah, there's lots of good lessons happen right there, and I'm really excited on moving forward. They know we could have been a lot better. We still enjoyed the win. We enjoyed the burger and fries. Actually, we got slim chickens, macaroni and cheese on the way home. So they enjoyed that. But they had a little vibe about them, like they weren't satisfied.
Well, that's got to be probably the best way to take a win, right? You get the win and you learn. You're better for next time. Right?
Absolutely.
So the offense, kind of the same story as the week before, right? You spread that out quite a bit. Buckstein, of course, leading the way, 18 for 26, 221 passing, 61 yards rushing. You spread the rushing out across a bunch of different players. You had 7 different players with catches. Just like last week, this is going to continue to be important to be able to spread the love, right, on the offensive side.
Yeah, and I said it before we started the year that we have 3 good running backs and about 7 good receivers. It's going to be hard to make them all happy. And right now we're making them all happy. And all those stat lines, the biggest thing that's made us better and we've been able to gain some momentum on offense is Buck's legs. I mean, he's throwing the ball well, but he made a couple of runs the other night that he's faster than I thought.
Right, well, and that's huge. And then I think on offense, something that a lot of people have talked about is that very first touchdown. You tweeted about this, and I think everybody really latched onto that because it speaks volumes of just about the communication and the level of knowledge of the game. You can be a great athlete,
right?
But that's only part of the story, right? When you understand the game, like clearly we're starting to see from these guys. So talk to us about, Hank tells you about that safety and some things that he had noticed early on. that allowed really that first touchdown to even happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an injury timeout or if it was a regular timeout, but we're in the score zone, the end zone, about 25-yard line, and he literally points to number 24 and says, "Go, 24 is playing tight in the box. You just give a derby fake. He's going to bite, send Shy on a take route." And it all made sense. So I was like, "I'm going to try, sure. All right, let's go. Shy, come on." And he wasn't calling
That's
a ball.
the very next play call, right?
The very next play call. And it wasn't Hank saying, "Give me the ball." It was
right,
because he was a little tired from playing both ways, and selflessness, trusting his teammates. And sure enough, Shy was sitting right there. His eyes got big, smiled, and got in there, and Buck made a heck of a throw, and Shy made a great catch and broke a tackle, and we scored. And 24 did bite.
Well, I think that's the thing. There's so much to unpack there. It's so great, not only for Hank to see the game and understand the game, but then, like you said, but he doesn't call for the ball himself.
Right.
He sees.
Oh, he does plenty, but not this,
but
not this time.
So to put all that together to get that first touchdown was huge.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a look. We do have some highlights we can
Okay.
take a look at. So let's get a look and see what we've got dialed up here.
This is it, yeah. This is actual. You can see the safety by the 10-yard line. We're going to give that fake. He's going to step up to the box. There's Shy. And
right, and
one
the only
picture
place
perfect.
you can.
Yeah.
Well, but Buck hit right where he had to hit it. Yeah.
Hit the 2.
So now we're going back the other way.
Yeah, this is man, I wish we could rewind this play. You can't rewind it, can you, Josh? Okay, look, so this is a flea flicker. Tardy is the running back in the back. His job is just to act and pitch it. It wasn't to make that block. I mean, so what that little extra right there is
understanding that he needed to do it.
Just playing without the ball. See here. Yeah, there was some rough going on getting their front seven was good, and there's sometimes Tardy just gets tired of not running in the holes and making his own hole, and he's one heck of a football player. All Defensively,
right, defense only giving up 9 yards rushing, the 1 touchdown only.
That's the first time I heard that. But yeah, they're a menace, and just right there, that's Cam, that's Red, that's Isaiah coming off the edge. Diggy's always in the mix. Number 66 right there is Chris Hurta, and he's a senior finally on the varsity, and he starts every week and is doing a heck of a job on assignment football.
Awesome. So obviously you got the win, you got some lessons learned. What are some other things that you need to improve on coming out of this game?
Well, it was easy. So we got 14 penalties. We talked about the punt block. That's covered. The next biggest thing we had to talk about was 14 penalties for 100-something yards. So Thursday I walked through the locker room and it was just a mess. It wasn't championship standard. So Sunday I had all the coaches come up about an hour before they usually do, and we cleaned every locker, made sure the laundry clips were good. We swept the floor, we mopped the floor. We made it look like a championship locker room. When they showed up this morning, I gave them the live how you live talk, and I didn't let them go in the locker room. Went straight to the team room. This is at 6:30 in the morning, and just told them if your locker room looks like a 14 penalty team, you're going to be a 14 penalty team. And it wasn't about you, and it's just again another learning moment. Look, we as coaches came up and cleaned your mess up for the last time. Now you're going to do it. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let's keep it that way. So maybe it'll translate to less penalties.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that obviously coming up later in the show, but we're going to head to break now. We're excited to get that second district win, and we'll head to commercial break. When we get back, we'll talk about East Central coming up this Friday back at Toyota Rattler Stadium, and we'll also get another round of rapid fire with Creek. So, Coach, you got a commercial break to get yourself ready. Everybody keep it here on the RattlerUp Network. Welcome back to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. We are going to be going back to another segment of Rapid Fire. We've got Crick Innes here. He's back to lob as many questions to Coach Walsh as he can in 60 seconds. So last week, Coach, we learned a great deal about you in just 60 seconds. So we hope to learn a little bit more. So Creek, welcome back to Rattler Up.
Sir, good.
Now let's go ahead and get 60 seconds on the clock. And Coach Walsh is going to be on the hot box here. And here it is. He's got a logo, Coach.
Yeah.
Man, look at
I'm
this
telling you,
guy.
he's going to have his own show. He's going to put
Look
us
at
out of
this
work.
guy.
So, all right, Creek, you ready? 60 seconds on the clock.
Yes, sir. Oh, before you start it, I would like to give a shout out to Miss Roper for writing these for me.
Right. You mentioned that she has started acting as your assistant.
Yes.
Is that what you were telling us?
Professional assistant.
All right. So thank you, Miss Roper, for the assistance. She's going to want a logo.
Awesome.
Right. All right. Well,
Now I'm really scared.
60 seconds on the clock, Creek. Rapid fire begins now.
All right, here we go, Walsh. Your favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman. She's pretty.
Favorite spot on the river?
We go to Don's fish camp. I would say the last home stretch under the shade.
Okay, I got a little quiz for you here. What is your wedding anniversary?
Pearl Harbor.
Okay. What would you call Jordan Lampkin? J Lamp or Debo?
100% J-Lamb.
J Lamp. Snow cone or ice cream?
20 years ago, it was ice cream every night. Gained some weight. Now I'm on just the snow cones with the water. It's just water.
Okay. Best movie franchise?
Smokey and the Bandit.
Describe a perfect Saturday without football.
Without football?
Without football.
Well, that's not perfect, but
That's what I think.
just go back to that home stretch on Don's fish camp in the shade.
Okay. Favorite iconic sport moment?
Before I was a Cowboy fan, 1982, I was a 49er fan in the catch.
There you go. 60 seconds. So rapid fire is over. Great job on that. You got your logo. You got your questions. You're set. All right. So, Coach, you survived 2 rounds of rapid fire.
I was actually nervous.
Oh, I know. You got off lucky.
I got better ones. Save them for
He's got
CJ.
him set
Save
up
them for
for me.
CJ
I'll
next
save you
week.
these.
Yeah, I think next week rapid fire will turn and face me. I think I'm up against it this
Yeah,
time.
you'll
So,
get it next
Greek,
time.
thanks for joining us
Yes, sir.
on
Thanks for
Rattler Up.
having
Thanks
me.
for being a part of it. All right. Well, let's go ahead, Coach, and take a look at this Friday night as the Rattlers will be back in Toyota Rattler Stadium to take on the East Central Hornets. East Central is 1-5 on the year and 0-2 in district play, dropping their first district game to Judson in an overtime thriller, 27-24. And then last week having a rough week against state-ranked Steele, 49-0. But obviously, we understand this is not necessarily the same team that we're going to see this Friday night. So tell us a little bit about that early scouting outlook for the Hornets.
Yeah, I know Coach Hubbard he was in the Metroplex when I was up there. He was at Garland. So we talk quite often. And last week we were discussing some sub-varsity things. And the reason that record looks like it is, it's hard to win without your starting quarterback.
Right.
His starting quarterback broke his collarbone in the first game.
Goodness.
Last Thursday, he was going to the doctor to get released to get ready for this week. So, and he's a great athlete, and he definitely makes him go. So, and then you go back to the Judson game, they had a 20.9 lead with like 5 minutes to go in the ball game, and it just got away from them at the end. So we're definitely going to see a different East Central team, and I've been trying to preach to our kids that don't look at that record. The starting quarterback's coming back, and you can just imagine
He's gonna
any
have something to
team,
prove.
high school, college, or pro, when the starting quarterback's out, things get tough. So he's back. So act like we're fixing to play a really good football team that made the playoffs last year and went 3 rounds.
Yeah, 3 rounds deep, and he's got guys to throw it to. They lost a lot of seniors primarily on defense, but on offense, he's got senior receivers Joseph Kelly and Darion Smith-Klein. They're returning the combined for 1,500 yards of passing last year, 25 touchdowns between them. So I think this is probably going to be a really good test for the Rattler defense, especially in the secondary.
No doubt. And I heard it last, was it Buda Johnson game? David Underwood, I usually don't hear him, but I heard him in the give the record of Buda with a one for, Lee, I'm going to ask him not to say that out loud over the intercom with these guys, because these guys, they're not a 1 for team.
Yeah, we don't want to fire them up, right?
No, do not.
Now, I think that's one thing you kind of talked about in the review just now of Clemens, but you're kind of starting to see too where a little bit different is teams are really gearing up now. When the Rattlers arrive or you come to San Marcos now, this is a win you want to get above some other wins, right? And you're starting to see that. You got to believe East Central is going to be just that same way.
No, there's no doubt. They're tired of reading about us, and the media's kind of liking what we're doing, so they're giving us a lot of, Twitter, or even the news stations are out there today. So, the target's on your back, and you really haven't done anything yet, really. So we have to manage that with our boys. But you can feel the energy in pregame. A whole lot different than I've felt since I've been here. That they're chirping already, and there's some nervous energy from the other side of the field.
Right. Well, we talk a lot about pre-district play, get you ready for district play get you ready for the tournament. This is exactly this situation and the environment you want these players to be in right now, correct?
Yeah, no doubt. It's in our district, it's full of great players. You can say the one for team, but each team just has explosive players that you really have to account for. Last week we saw it, this week we saw it, and I'm thankful for our district, because you can be in a district where you only have only one school that's going to be challenging. It's challenging each week, and we're getting ready
There's
for
no
a
weeks
tournament.
off. Not at all. So we talk on their defense. They did lose 5 of their 7 leading tacklers on defense. So with those key seniors graduated, what does Coach Hubbard have to focus on when he's got a really new defense against an offense? It's obviously been clicking well here for a number of weeks.
I've talked to a few people this week about him, and Coach Hubbard's made it difficult because he started off in still a play caller here. So you would like to see a static defense where you can game plan for. And sometimes that's scary because they know what they're doing, and they're hard to move the ball. The good teams are a static defense. They've played 3 different fronts. And it's been different games. So we really have to we met longer yesterday, and all right, as a staff, collectively, what are we saying they're going to be in? Where do we start, and how do we prepare? And we have our plan B, and we have our plan C. But we hope we guessed right, and if we don't, we'll go to plan B, by midway through the first quarter.
All right, well, Beck, make sure to be with us. Toyota Rattler Stadium this Friday night as the Rattlers take on the Hornets of East Central. Kickoff is at 7:30. And, Coach, with that, another Rattler Up is in the books. But before we go, we want to take a look at some upcoming chances you have to catch Rattlers in action this week. Coming up tomorrow, volleyball begins the second half of their district schedule. They themselves will be at Clemens. Varsity starts at 7 o'clock. On Wednesday, swim heads over to Shirts for the SCUC Spring Invitational. That begins at 4. And cross country, we got to visit with them and Coach McLaughlin earlier this year on Rattler Up. Their district meet is Wednesday, so good luck to them on a shot at regionals. Thursday, JV football will be at East Central at 6:30, while the freshmen will be here to face those same Hornets at 6:30. Friday, volleyball has East Central and football has East Central. Rattlers will be here. Toyota Rattler Stadium, East Central Hornets kickoff at 7:30.
I failed to give you good information. We moved our sub-varsity games to Wednesday.
Oh, there we go. So
if anybody's listening, I don't want to confuse them.
So JV and freshmen get out there Wednesday to support your Rattlers and see Creek Ennis in action. All right. Hopefully some rapid fire on the football field from Mr. Creek.
He's got a little fire about him.
All right, well, Coach, before we go, we always check in on things outside of Rattler Nation. And as of now, A&M is the number 5 team in the nation, and Texas has moved out of the top 25. I don't think anybody could have seen this coming at the beginning of the season. Or could they? Not
that drastic, but it just goes, these days you can't have a preseason poll because you buy new teams every year. So you don't know what you're going to get. But, I didn't think it would be that drastic.
Right. And we talked last week. It builds such great drama for that year-end A&M Texas game, right? Mm-hmm. So Cowboys and Texas, they both pick up wins on Sunday afternoon. That was nice. And the MLB playoffs continue tonight. Jays are up. Tigers and Mariners are tied. Dodgers are up. And I'm headed straight home to see if my Cubs can come back from a game down to the Brewers. Coach, you have a team you're pulling for in the baseball playoffs?
I'm going to pull for the Cubs just for you, CJ.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Just another way you're conditioned to have your heart broken. So I think that it won't hurt too bad when it happens, Coach. Don't worry. Well, that does it for this week. As always, we want to thank Jack and Josh for running that digital communications program here at SMHS and the Rattler Broadcast Studios. And, of course, all of the students putting graphics together, running cameras, to Creek being on here with Rapid Fire, for Merritt Todd, our producer, once again for the show tonight. We'll be back again next week. So for Coach Walsh, I'm CJ Odom. Thanks for watching Rattler Up.